Welcome to this course titled De-Escalation Techniques, as designed and produced by the Region 11 Service Center. In this course, you'll learn to use both verbal and nonverbal de-escalation techniques to diffuse negative student behaviors in the classroom. For today's presentation, you'll need a copy of Doing the Verbal De-Escalation Dance, which is a slide presentation produced by Georgia Southern University. The presentation is available by clicking on the pop-up on the screen or by typing the link shown here into an internet browser. At the conclusion of this course, you'll have an opportunity to demonstrate your understanding of the stated learning objective by participating in a demonstration lab that's sponsored by Region 11's certification team. During the mini lesson, the teacher must provide at least 2 examples of the techniques discussed in the video to de-escalate a conflict while being respectful, proactive, confident, and nurturing the student-teacher relationship. If it's not too late, grab a cup of coffee or beverage of your choice, a copy of the Georgia Southern University presentation, and let's get started. Educators are being asked to examine and respond to student behavior differently than at other times in history. It's foundational to your understanding for this course that you see the differences from the past and the present. Here we have slide 3 from Doing the Verbal De-Escalation Dance. Some old ways of thinking about behavior intervention are generally more negative and student-focused. They include viewing the student as a problem and trying to fix the student. They emphasize reducing behavior, rely heavily on negative consequences, and are focused on quick fixes by an expert. Some of the new thinking with behavioral intervention generally focus on the classroom environment and using positivity to influence difficult situations. New ways of thinking center around the setting and procedures the teacher has in place. They emphasize increasing skills of the student with positive approaches and are focused on sustaining results with teams of teachers and available resources. Reflect on these points that might be most challenging for you to shift your thinking about student behavior. There are 3 key terms that are important to understanding the role of the teacher in de-escalating potentially aggressive student behavior. The first term is behavior escalation, which is a cycle or stages in which a conflict and/or undesirable behavior worsens and becomes more intense, serious, and possibly dangerous. The second term is diffusing or de-escalating behavior. De-escalating behavior utilizes research-based positive behavior supports and interventions to lessen and alleviate conflict with the goal of returning to the stage of recovery or the state of calm. The third and final term is verbal de-escalation, which is a targeted intervention to use with students who are at risk for aggression. It's basically using calm language along with other communication techniques to diffuse, redirect, or de-escalate a situation with conflict. Slide 9 of your resource, which is the one shown on this page, details the predictable 7-stage cycle that students go through when they act out. Knowing how and when to engage students is a key factor in de-escalation. Here we have some barriers of effective communication, and these are things that are going to get in the way of being able to resolve conflict and move forward. Things like prejudging, not listening, criticizing, name-calling, having power struggles, making threats or minimizing others all get in the way of resolving that conflict. Remember, to de-escalate, you need to open as many lines of communication as possible and listen to each other. Barriers of communication are things that are going to get in the way and take away from the meaning of what's being said from being heard. Active listening while working through conflict helps validate opposing viewpoints. Students are more willing to work with you if you attend or give your physical and mental attention to another person. This shows you value their perspective even if it's at fault. Attending is a nonverbal cue that shows you want to address the situation and move forward in your relationship. At this time, please pause the video and take a look at slides 34 to 35 of the resource to see notes about active listening. This is one strategy that you might want to include in your de-escalation mini lesson. following is another component of active listening and is simply engaging the person with eye contact. You could show empathy while actively listening by reflecting and paraphrasing what the other person has to say. This sort of action shows that you understand their feelings and the opposing thought processes behind the situation. Modeling through the nonverbal behaviors on this slide can show your students how to work through troubled times, and it may be even worth conducting some sort of activity where you role play at the beginning of the year. Both students and teachers need reminding of how to de-escalate aggressive behavior by controlling breathing, the tone and volume of one's voice, adjusting the body language, and also using non-inflammatory vocabulary. For more information about this, check out slide 41 of your resource. At the conclusion of this course, you'll have an opportunity to demonstrate your understanding of the stated learning objective by participating in a demonstration lab, sponsored by Region 11 Certification Team. To receive credit for this course, participants must score Proficient or Masters. This slide details how teachers must provide at least 2 examples of de-escalation techniques in a real-life scenario. To receive Master's level proficiency, the teacher must also model de-escalation with a student volunteer and check for understanding from the students. Let's summarize our learning now so we can prepare for your upcoming mini lesson. So for this mini lesson, you'll need to prepare to describe an encounter with a student that's starting to get aggressive. On this screen, you'll see a pop-up to a video that shows an example of a student whose behavior has escalated and has gotten out of hand. Consider how you'd use your understanding of de-escalation techniques to change the outcome of the situation. After you describe your scenario, you should ask students to brainstorm with a partner about possible ways to de-escalate the situation. After this discussion, this is when you'll model a particular set of de-escalation techniques. Be sure to ask the participants how this lesson affected their perception of the student behavior issues. Thank you for watching this course module titled De-Escalation Techniques. Good luck, and feel free to review this video at any time as you prepare for your upcoming mini lesson. Today's material referenced the presentation from the website shown here and used downloaded images from Pixabay.